Oh, man. You could call this redemption from the fourth quarter collapse last week. You can call this a miracle from any and all up high. You can call this a gift from the Saints. I don't care what you call it. Somehow the Packers from Green Bay just came back from a 17-point deficit in the fourth quarter to win this game in week 3. The Packers versus the Saints. We played some horrible football in the first 3 quarters and into the fourth quarter. We had no business winning this game, and we walked out with one of the biggest W's in recent memory. We're going to talk all about it. The positives, the negatives, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the NFL's Week 3 Green Bay Packers versus the New Orleans Saints. Wait till you hear how this game unfolded. From the first quarter to the final play. Snap, spot. It's got the distance. It is no good. The Packers win the game. We're going to talk all about it, man. The game just got over. BC's reviewing it now. Man, goosebumps. We're amplified. A big swig of coffee, and we're going to go over this game. 18-17. The Packers just defeated the Saints. What the heck just happened? Quarter 1, the Packers win the toss, but defer to the Saints. We kick it right over to the other team. We do not trust our offense. We're going to trust our defense to set the tone for this game. I do not blame Coach LaFleur at all. Our defense, if there is a stronger area in our game, or at least going into this game, it's our defense. Besides that, Coach Bill Belichick really kicked this whole idea, this concept into another stratosphere for years and years. Even if he wins the toss, Belichick is kicking that ball to the other team. He's going to trust his defense to set the tone, and he's going to know for a fact he's getting the ball back at the jump of the third quarter, start of the second half. So every other team kind of follows that now. But the key is you have to trust your defense to set that tone for the game. Well, our defense delivered at the start of this game. They didn't just set the tone, they went above and beyond. A quick 3 and out that included an 8-yard sack. And the Saints were punting from their own 6-yard line. You can't ask for anything more other than another 6 yards backwards, which would have gave us a safety. But that's all you could have asked more. This defense delivered in that opening drive. And the Packers were actually starting their first possession near the 50-yard line. Sounds pretty good, right? Not so fast. It's the Packers we're talking about. The Packers' first home possession of the 2023 season was a complete debacle. And I'm being generous. It's the Packers. You'd have to, with incredible field position, right? The 50-yard line, basically. You'd have to really screw up to not at least walk away with 3 points. You'd have to really screw up to not at least put 3 points on the board. Unfortunately, that's exactly what the Packers did yet again. We completely screwed up. Before we even got a playoff, 2 quick penalties put us 15 yards backwards. Think about that, please. Before we even got a playoff at the 50-yard line, we're going backwards 15 yards, the opposite way. And then it's 4th and 2. 4th and 2. We're going to go for it. I don't mind this call. I actually don't even mind the play call, which was a flea flicker. 4th and 2, just cross midfield at this point, and we're going to go for it. And we're going to do a flea flicker. This sets up 2 options, right? If the back sees what he likes, he can get a quick 2, 3, maybe even 5, 6 yards. He's just going to run it. If not, go with the original call, flick it right back to Love, and let Love do what he does. And on top of that, while everybody's defending for 2 yards, or at least inside 5, man, you could open up 15, 20, 30 yards down the field. A lot of good can come from this. There's only one problem. you have to make sure that you execute everybody and nobody, and I do mean nobody, executed in this play. First and foremost, just the flick back to Love was underthrown, so Love is trying to pick the ball from off the field. It doesn't even reach Love, so Love is trying to get the ball. Then he stumbles and he bumbles and he fumbles the ball. By the time he has it in his possession, he's slipping and falling with opposition quickly coming. He's got to heave it up into the air, which was to, I don't even know, it wasn't to anybody. There was nobody even in the vicinity. There was nobody in the vicinity of this ball, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even care. He just wanted to throw it up and give anybody, even if it falls into the arms of a saint, he just wanted to make sure it gets into somebody's hands so he doesn't look like a complete buffoon. After last week's debacle, you guys remember Jordan Love was already a meme and a gif all week. He was already the joke of the NFL, stumbling over his center last week while trying to draw the offense off or the defense off sides. And he was the only one to move, and he trips over his center and he falls through the line. This week, he's stumbling and bumbling and fumbling the ball. He's sliding, he's falling. At this point, man, all I'm thinking is the pack better be careful, because the league is going to start looking at us like we are a circus sideshow. It's one embarrassing moment after the other with this team so far. And this is just our first drive in the third game of the season. And I'm starting to notice one embarrassing moment after the other. We just look like we haven't practiced anything on offense. Anything. I don't know what they're doing at practice. I don't know if they're sitting there eating fucking Twinkies and watching Home Alone. Or if they're back there playing a game of Monopoly or some Yahtzee. I don't know if they're watching Teletubbies or Boy Meets World. What I do know is they're not practicing these plays, or at least not correctly. Because from what we've seen as Packer fans so far this season, it looks like they have not practiced any of these plays. Again, at least not correctly. Again, the 4th and 2, I like the call, but it was horribly executed by everybody that participated in that play. The Saints then capitalized. They score minutes later on a touchdown pass, 7-0 Saints. The next possession, Love has 88. Musgrave wide open for a 40-yard pass up the middle, but it's grossly overthrown. That's 5 passes already early on in this season that have been grossly overthrown by Jordan Love. You have to connect those. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you those are the throws that are game changers. Thus, you have to make those throws. That's not optional in the NFL. And then another huge penalty on what was at that point a 3rd and 5, which made it 3rd and 10. And Love is nearly intercepted on said 3rd and 10. Punt, Green Bay. And the Saints have possession as quarter number 1 comes to an end. Quarter 2 begins with a huge sack from 52, Rashawn Gary. Saints are forced to punt, so think about that. Right from the jump of Q2, we're forcing a punt. All right, a little bit of new life. Take a deep breath. RELAX, relax. Let's start anew, right? They got quarter 1, but we got out pretty much unscathed, right? 7-0. We'll take it the way we played. Quarter 2, let's be the dominant force now. Let's be the unit that they cannot contain. We make them punt. But even when we do something good, we end up going backwards, and this was no different, as another penalty on the punt return took us backwards another 10 yards. So just when you take 2 steps forward, they got you going 10 steps back. Then we scratched and clawed to get a first down. Think about it. We actually got a first down. Scratched and clawed to get it. And then another holding penalty took the first down away and took us back another 10 yards. Right when we got that first down, that was pivotal. A penalty takes it away and puts us back 10 more yards. The Packers are then forced to punt yet again. And this time, the Saints were not letting that gift go unappreciated. On the punt return, number 22 for New Orleans, Shaheed, ends up taking it to the house. Our special teams unit watched this dude go over 60 yards. Almost said 80, it might as well have been. Well over 60 yards. And our special teams, all 11 dudes on that field, they could not catch this dude. Half of them 20 steps behind him. And they just watched this dude go 60 plus yards to make this 14-0. 14-0 Saints at this point. We have 75 yards of total offense and 60 yards of penalties. Think about that, please. It's 14-0. We have 75 total offensive yards and 60 penalty yards. We almost have as much penalty as we do total offense at this point. And even worst of all, we literally look like a circus sideshow in the NFL. If the Bad News Bears played football, they'd be the Green Bay Packers. Come on. That may seem harsh, but if you're a Packers fan, you know no lies detected. We're harsh because we care. We're critical and may sound negative at times because we love this team and we know what they should and could be. Or could and should be. Our next drive goes nearly 7 minutes and somehow we limped into field goal range. I don't know how, but let's kick the field goal. Let's at least put some points on the board. Not so fast. It's the Packers. Just because you're in field goal range 1 second doesn't mean you're going to stay there. Just as fast as we got it, or not as fast, it took us 7 minutes to get in field goal range. But of course, we'd find a way to go backwards pretty quickly. And this time, it was a 15-yard sack on Jordan Love. Took us right out of field goal range. Reigns. Give up the fucking Reigns at this point. Put in fucking Roman Reigns from the WWE at this point. Maybe he'll make some type of a positive net gain for us. A 15-yard sack on Jordan Love took us out of field goal range. There you go. I can speak. Out of field goal range. We punt the ball immediately right back to the Saints. Now you're thinking, all right, there's a few minutes left in the game. Maybe they won't even get into field goal range. You're not even thinking. Because you got to remember, last week, if you saw the review, once one aspect of the Packers collapses, the entire team collapses. It's what's happened for years, and so far this year, it's our identity. And sure enough, our defense was good at the first possession of the game, and then our defense said, well, the rest of the team is collapsing. I guess we have to. And in just a few minutes that they had, the Saints were able to storm down the field, take up the rest of the time in the half, and rock out another 3 points on a field goal. So we had a 7-minute drive before that field goal to end the half. A 7-minute drive, and we had nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it. They end up getting the ball back and scoring another field goal. So at this point, guys, it's halftime, 17-0. If you're wondering, the last time the Packers were shut out at halftime, you'd have to go back 5 years ago, 17-0 against the Bears, which happened to be another home season opener. But that's a game we came back and won 24-23. At this point, we're hoping for the same thing, right? If you guys are wondering the halftime stats, total yards, 131 for the Saints, 116 for the Pack. Penalties, 15 yards for the Saints, 60 for the Packers. Third downs, both teams were even, 3 conversions out of 7. Time of possession, 13:41 for the Saints, 16:19 for the Packers. Think about that time of possession, please. The Packers had the ball nearly 3 minutes longer and scored 0 points. And that's only because they had that 7-minute drive, which resulted in a punt. You cannot do that in the NFL. Guys, we got to call this what it is. It's bad football, right? This was a brutal first half. We called last week's game, the fourth quarter, was a complete team collapse. This entire half was a complete team collapse. Swig of coffee, we'll talk the second half. Could the Packers come back to life? Could they find life? Did they have a pulse? Swig of coffee, we'll talk the second half. Now, somehow, we got even worse at the start of the third quarter, the beginning of the second half. I don't know how that's possible, but it actually happened. Coming into the third quarter, starting the second half, you were hoping this team, this Green Bay Packer team, was going to show you some signs of life. That they were going to at least begin the process to start to change the tide, the pace, and the momentum of the game. Instead, they came out and did the absolute worst thing you could possibly do. Jordan Love throws a miserable interception on a 3rd and long. Think about that. Think about the start of this game. We win the coin toss. We elect to kick it off. We defer. We want them to have the ball because we want the ball when it matters the most. The second half, beginning of the third quarter, we want to control the game, right? All of this masterminding. And right from the jump in the third quarter, we give it right back to them. You can't make this up. Now, before I go on with the third quarter, anybody who follows football, especially the Green Bay Packers, you know Jordan Love has an incredible arm. You know, we're still deciphering the differences and the similarities between Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love. But one thing they all have in common, those three, incredible arms. Let me put it to you this way. BC would not blink if you told me Jordan Love threw a football from Maine to Florida, New York to LA, Canada to Maine. Slight exaggeration, but my point is Jordan Love has that kind of an arm. The problem is there's no accuracy on the long balls. Anything over 25, 30 yards, you better hope that it's somewhere in the vicinity of your location so you can maybe leap onto a wing of an eagle and he'll take you to where the ball is. Because I'm telling you, anything over 30 yards from what we've seen on Jordan Love, it could go anywhere. But it's most likely going 5, 10, 15 yards over your dome piece. That's the problem with Love. He can get it to you. The problem is, it doesn't stop there. It goes beyond you. One grossly overthrown ball after another with Jordan Love thus far into the early season, man. So he's got quite the arm. Anything to 15, 20, 25 yards even, or in that realm. He's pretty damn good. He's locked in. He can get it to you pretty quickly and pretty accurate. Anything beyond that, man, he's got the arm if we could just work on the accuracy. Anyway, that's a side rant, and this was our Achilles heel once again. Started the third quarter, and we gave it right back on Jordan Love's first interception at home of the season. Now, Derek Carr, the QB for the New Orleans Saints, is ruled out of the second half with a shoulder injury. So this ends up being a massive assist for our defense. And our big D is able to get a big stop that puts an end to any further scoring, at least for the moment, from the Saints. And they actually have to punt back to us. Now, trust me, I would love to say that it was just our defense, but not having Carr in that game, that was a big hit to the Saints. But listen, sometimes you get a gift that you don't really feel you deserved, right? You get a gift from somebody who were just kind of like, oh, I didn't know you cared. You got to take that gift and be appreciative, and you got to show that you're going to utilize that gift. And that's what the Packers did. They took it, and the skies opened up, at least for a play. Jordan Love actually connected on a long ball, 40 yards down the field. It was still overthrown. Let's not get too carried away. It was still overthrown, but somehow Romeo Doubs is able to complete the old fingertip snag just by his fingertips while simultaneously dragging his toes on the right side of the chalk. So Romeo Doubs deserves all the cook. Yes, Love got it to him, but it wasn't right at him. Dobbs had to literally, as we aforementioned, leap onto the wing of that Eagle, and he took him the rest of the way. But what a 40-yard connection. Jordan Love to Romeo Dobbs. And then we struggle the next 3 plays, and this takes us to the end of quarter 3. At this point, it's 4th down for the Packers, and we're going into the fourth quarter. We're in field goal range, so at least we put some points up on the board. That's what you're thinking, right? Not so fast. So we start quarter number 4. We're going for it on 4th down. We're not taking the points. Now, we're about 30 yards away. Just to give you guys some wayfinding. I don't have the exact yardage in my notes, but we're roughly 30 yards away. I say put up your 3 points now. Change the pace, flip the momentum, and alleviate the bloated deficit, right? This is a crucial 3 points you're thinking. I mean, you just need to show yourselves signs of life. You need to show yourselves that you're worthy enough of putting up some points. But no, this team goes for it. And the problem with that is there's nothing that Love or the Packers have shown us thus far that has indicated that they can connect this play for a first down. Or convert this play, I should say, for a first down, much less a connection of any sort. But nothing this team has shown us, stemming back from the fourth quarter of last week, through the whole game thus far, has shown you that they can convert this 4th down. And sure enough, we go for it. Love overthrows it. Or our receiver didn't go far enough. It was only a 5-yard dinker pass because it was only a 4th and 2. So it doesn't matter who you want to blame. Love overthrew it, or a receiver just undercut the route, his own route. Just go a couple of yards deeper. It wouldn't have mattered. It doesn't matter who you're blaming. It's the Packers doing Packers things. It's the Packers doing what the Packers have done since last week. Collapsing any which way imaginable. 4th down in just a couple of yards. And they do not convert. They turn it over on downs. Simplistic. This was a wide open, simplistic 5-yard throw, and it's not even close. I mean, the ball was 4 yards away from the receiver. Again, you can blame whoever you want. It's Packer things at this point. The Saints get the ball over, like I said, via turnover on downs. And again, with no Derek Carr in the game, the Saints offense has completely stalled at this point. This is our one saving grace. As bad as we're playing football, the Saints have now stalled with no Derek Carr. Without their starting quarterback, their offense completely collapsed and shut down. They're looking like the Packers of the fourth quarter last week. And that's what makes this even more frustrating. They gave us so many opportunities to take this game back, and we just volleyed it right back to them. This was another scenario. 3 and out, or maybe they got a first down. I believe it was a 3 and out, and they give it right back to us. Now, on our next possession, it stalls again in field goal range. I couldn't even get into the red zone. It stalls again in field goal range. A dropped TD pass by rookie Reed. And I mean dropped. It was in his chest. He comes down with it. And at the very end, their cornerback just puts a finger on it and it just comes unlodged. You can't do that. I know he's a rookie and he ends up with a big catch later on in this fourth quarter. You can't do this, man. You can't drop that type of a pass, especially in the end zone. But a dropped TD pass by Reed, just inexcusable. And then an underthrown ball in the end zone by Love. Think about that, right? He's always overthrowing. He actually had an underthrown ball in the end zone, and we just settled for 3 points. Now we go for the field goal. You could have done that 4 minutes earlier. Probably just trying not to be embarrassed, right? At this point, I think you're accepting your loss. That's inevitable. And at this point, you're just trying to get some points on. You know that nothing is clicking. So you just take the 3 points. You know, you got beat up when you didn't do it the few minutes earlier and you went 4 and out. So here they took the 3 points, and at this point, it's 17-3. At least we're not going to be shut out. Packers would get the ball back pretty quickly. Again, without Derek Carr, there's no offense for the Saints. So you start to think a little bit, wouldn't it be wild if the Packers came back? You know it's not going to happen. Last time it happened was 5 years ago, 2018, against the Chicago Bears, against us, our home season opener, as I said, when we were covering the end of the first half. We were the team that came back from 17-0, and we won that game 24-23. But, I mean, what's the chances of that happening again? But you get the ball back here, and you start to think about it, right? The Packers get the ball with about roughly 8 minutes left in the quarter and the game, and they rally to the end zone where Jordan Love runs it in for the TD. And then they go for the 2-point conversion, and they get it. And this wasn't even a cheap one, too, like a little run-in, right, from maybe Dixon or Dillon. And, of course, Aaron Jones isn't even in the game, but Love with a little sneak. No, this was a throw, man. We earned it, and we got this conversion. So now it's 17-11. This was ballsy, bro. This was ballsy to do. You're basically saying we believe we can win this game. We're not going for the tie, because if you just went for the field goal, it's 17-10, and then you just need one more touchdown, an extra point, and you at least, with the time remaining, you weren't going to get more than another touchdown. But you would at least send this into overtime. This was this team honestly feeling like they were playing with house money. This team knows they should have lost 100 different ways, but without Carr in the game, it was a little bit of new life. You're playing with chips that you did not earn. So we might as well go for broke, or possibly score that winning ticket. So they win for it. They got it. Now you're finding yourself 17-11. If you can put up another stop, you have earned your shot. I don't know if they've earned it or not. Maybe it was such a special gift. But either way, you have this opportunity to actually take the lead. I don't know about the win at this point, because there still might be extra time for them to kick a field goal, but you've at least got yourself a chance to take the lead in this game, something nobody thought was going to happen for basically the entire game. So 17-11. And then it happened, man. The Saints go another 3 and out. Again, there's no Carr in this game. So their backup is kind of stifled. And before you know it, the Packers have the ball right back. Maybe 6 minutes, maybe 6 and change. And you're thinking there's plenty of time. If they just execute, man, if they play like the Packers are capable of playing, they could actually take this lead. You're still not fully believing it, though, because of the way they've been playing since the fourth quarter of last week. So you don't want to bring yourself to that type of heartbreak. But the Packers have the ball at their own 20. Now, at that point, you talk about an uphill climb. Yeah, how about going 80 yards in 6 minutes with this team? This is a team that in the first half had a 7-minute drive and came away with 0 points. Now you only have 6 minutes and you got to score 7. 20-yard line, but a big pass interference on the Saints. Again, this is why I say I don't know if we've earned it totally. But we're taking this gift, and we did not throw it to the wayside. We actually took this gift, and we used it. It's like the ugly sweater that grandma gets you every Christmas, right? A lot of times you just don't use it. You stuff it to the deep down into the closet, right? Well, this is the ugly sweater that the Packers said, you know what? We're going to sport that shit. We're going to wear it. We're utilizing this gift. If you're going to give us that massive 40-yard PI, we are not looking back. It's going to be like we just robbed the bank. We are running far away. We're not looking back. We don't care about pass and go, collecting an extra $200. We out of here. And this sets up Love to Dobbs on a stunning TD pass. And I mean stunning. Dobbs literally has to turn around midair because you could look at it and say Love threw behind, but I thought it was perfectly positioned because the coverage was actually good. So I think Love meant to throw right into that pocket, right into the corner, and Dobbs beautifully spun around. Defense cannot do anything with that type of a catch or where that ball was positioned. So Dobbs was able to ring that right in, and we scored a touchdown with a couple of minutes left. The extra point goes right through, and now it's 18-17. We came all the way back. The Pack is back. Are you kidding me? Before you can get overly excited, you see how much time is left on that clock. Again, a couple of minutes. And you're going, oh, we've seen this play out before. This is setting up for a game-winning field goal for the opposition, in this case, the Saints from New Orleans. Sure enough, the Saints storm past our defense. All of a sudden, their backup quarterback comes to life when it matters the most. Great. Again, we've seen this script play out over and over. If you're a Packer fan, your face is deep in your fucking cheesehead at that point, right? You don't even want to look at this point. 46-yard field goal to win the game. Snap, spot. It's got the distance. It is no good. No good. It's far right. The Packers win the game. That's the call. Super Bowl, what was it? Super Bowl 20, I believe, right? Was it 21? I'm going to say Super Bowl 20. It was the Bills and the Giants. Scott Norwood for the Bills was about to win the game. It's up, and I still remember that call. Snap, spot. It's got the distance. It is no good. The Giants win the Super Bowl. I'll never forget that call, man. This was a snap spot. It's got the distance far right. The Packers came back from 17 points down, not just in the second half, 17 down in the fourth quarter with minutes into the fourth quarter. In fact, we had a possession and we couldn't do anything. We went 4 and out, failed on fourth down. So it's not like we just magically at the start of the fourth quarter got a quick touchdown and that's how we were able to score 3 quick possessional points. No, we were deep into the fourth quarter and all of a sudden the entire team hopped upon a wing of an eagle and somehow we won this game. We came back from 17 points in the fourth quarter. A drastic turnaround and complete opposite of what happened from last week in the fourth quarter when we were up 12 points and got our asses beat. Here we're down 17 and we did the ass whooping. Can you tell I'm amplified? The game just got done about maybe 15 minutes ago. We're recording this podcast, this review of the game immediately after, and that's why we're still fueling, or at least we're amplified on the fumes of that game. What a comeback. I did not think it was happening because of how we were playing. This is a team that is more than capable at the bare minimum of 10 wins this season. Bare minimum. This team is capable of that bare minimum. This team is actually good. If they didn't play so bad so often. It starts with the mental mistakes. Starts with the coaching. Starts with the discipline. When you have 12 penalties for nearly 100 yards, that's a football field. An entire football field is 7 points. That doesn't seem like a lot. A lot of games are won and lost by 7 or under points. This game was lost by 7 and under, 1 point. If you give your opposition an entire football field's worth of penalties, you're not going to win a lot of games. We're taking this one. Graciously, thankfully, and gratefully, we are taking this game. Did we deserve it? Did we earn it? Maybe not. The grit, the not giving up, the executing at the tail end in the fourth quarter, yeah, you could say we earned it and we deserved it. The rest of the game, I'm not so sure. But we are going to go right into week 4 with a 2-1 record. I know the Bears are struggling. I know the Vikings just lost again moments after the Packers won, so the Vikings are 0-3. I know that we're sitting atop this division there with Detroit. Did we play our best football the last 3 weeks? Not even close. Are we in a position to do great damage and be something special still? You're damn right we are. I'm still trying to see the identity of this team. I'm seeing a lot of good things with its identity. I'm seeing a lot of good with the grit and the not giving up and a lot of these plays that are being made and just what they're capable of is so promising. We can be something special in this league. But man, when we're bad and when we're collapsing, it's bad and we're collapsing. Can we put together complete games? If that's the case, we're a dangerous team in this league. I'm telling you right now. Every team in the NFL should have to be worried about the Packers from Green Bay. This was a special victory, man. One I'll never forget. One I'll probably look at many times. This comeback, 17 points down, and we come back to win 18-17. Go, Pack, go! You rise those cheeseheads up high. The green and gold reigns supreme. To my Packers fans, salute. To NFL fans, whether you're a Packer fan or not, I hope you enjoyed the review. And I'd say salute and good luck to your team. But right now, we need it all. Right now, it's all about the Packers, man. So the worse your team does, the better for the Packers, more than likely. So I'm not going to wish your teams the best of luck. To my Packers, whoop that ass, man. Be prepared going to week 4, and let's whoop that ass. And BC will be right back here next week. We'll do the review of next week's game, obviously. Same schedule. That does not change. So come right back to the channel next week, and no matter what happens in week 4 for the Green Bay Packers, BC's got you covered. Until next time, and there will be that next time, BC saying check you. Peace! Top guys! Because the Packers are top guys this week. Top guys, we're out. We just made a statement, man. I don't know what that statement even is, but we made it. 2-1 going into 4. Check you guys. Peace.